Luna the Pitbull began every dawn alone beneath the cracked bridge, listening to trucks growl overhead like uncaring giant stories high. Her steel gray coat bore bald patches, her ears were jagged, and her wide jaw made strangers swap scary tales as soon as she padded near. Whenever she trotted toward the open-air market, shopkeepers waved brooms and clanged pots until she slunk away, tail brushing the dirt. The city dump beside the river serves her pantry, yet chewing soggy leftovers filled her mouth with sour fumes that tasted like rust. Pigeons flapped harder whenever Luna's shadow stretched across their perch, as if her quiet paws carried thunder instead of lonely hope. Once, a boy on a bike hurled a stone at her snout, and the sting made her eyes water, though she refused to cry aloud. She simply retreated under the bridge again, curling inside a blanket of stale newspaper that rustled with each uneasy dream. Memories of a warm home flickered in her mind like lost fireflies, but the faces there had blurred into fog after so many seasons. She still remembered a girl laughing while tying a pink ribbon around her neck, a sound softer than any pillow Luna had later known. That ribbon was long gone, replaced by a length of wire someone once twisted around her collarbone to chain her to a post. The wire scar remained, a gray necklace that told anyone looking it was safer to pass by on the other side of the street. Luna never growled first, yet the rumor that pit bulls bite without warning buzzed louder than any truth she could offer. Dogs with fluffy coats and floppy ears pranced past her with owners who tossed them treats shaped like stars and moons. She watched those treats arc through the air and imagined the taste, though she knew she would never be invited to catch one. Rainy nights were the hardest, because cold water pooled beneath the bridge and turned cardboard into mush that stuck to her fur. Lightning once cracked so close that sparks danced on the river, and Luna pressed her face into the mud to muffle her whimpers. Morning after morning she shook herself dry, hoping the new sun would bring a friend willing to see more than her rough outline. Yet each sunrise only painted longer shadows that pointed toward empty alleys and distant memories. Still, she kept walking, because stopping meant giving up on the promise hidden inside every heartbeat. Luna did not know it yet, but the world was about to stumble upon the gentle secret she carried behind that misunderstood smile. Far across town, a young shelter volunteer named Maya loaded leftover kibble into her backpack and set out on her weekend patrol. She believed every street had at least one forgotten animal waiting for a second chapter, so she walked slowly, eyes scanning gutters and alleys. That Saturday, sunrise warmed the riverbank like soft gold, revealing Luna sniffing a broken plastic cup beside the dump. Maya knelt, speaking in a calm sing-song voice that floated through the garbage odor like a clean breeze sweeping leaves. Luna froze, unsure whether this human carried kindness or the usual broom, but the melody of Maya's voice sounded softer than tires on sand. The volunteer eased a handful of kibble onto the pavement and backed away 5 steps, letting trust travel the distance on its own feet. Hunger overpowered fear, and Luna crept forward, chewing the crunchy gifts while never breaking eye contact with the stranger. Maya noticed the wire scar and whispered an apology as though she herself had tied the awful chain. Her words trembled with regret. She produced a wide, flexible leash padded with foam, nothing like wire, and laid it on the ground like a ribbon awaiting permission. Luna sniffed it, then nudged Maya's palm, choosing faith over memory, and the girl clipped the leash with a click gentler than raindrops. Together they walked toward the shelter van, moving slower than traffic, so Luna could taste the new idea of belonging. Passing children pointed at the pit bull and gasped, but Maya smiled and waved, explaining that this dog was simply tired, not dangerous. An older man muttered that the girl was foolish, predicting the beast would turn on her, yet Maya's calm stride never faltered. Inside the van, soft blankets replaced cardboard, and the scent of disinfectant drowned the dump's sour fog glued to Luna's fur. Maya opened a window, letting fresh wind ruffle Luna's cheeks and stir a spark of hope she had forgotten to feel. At the shelter, workers lined up behind a fence, some curious, because pitbull intakes often spelled trouble. Maya announced, "Her name is Luna, and she deserves welcome," her tone steady like a lighthouse in fog. The staff stepped back as Luna entered, but she walked with slow, respectful pause as if tiptoeing through a library. When she reached the kennel, a shy puppy yipped, and Luna responded with a quiet tail wag instead of a growl. The moment settled like warm tea in everyone's chest, planting the first seed of change in the garden of their opinions. During her first week at the shelter, Luna adapted to the routine like a student eager for recess bells. She learned that breakfast came with the jingle of stainless bowls, and she always waited her turn, sitting so politely it surprised the staff. Despite her manners, adoption day visitors skipped her kennel, choosing fluffier pups whose smiles looked easier to trust. Maya posted Luna's photo online, but comments filled with fire emojis and warnings that the dog was surely a future headline. Instead of deleting them, Maya replied with facts, explaining that behavior, not breed, predicts bites, yet skeptics typed faster than she could answer. One windy afternoon, a storm rolled over the city like a rumbling blanket, rattling the shelter roof and spooking every animal inside. A crash sounded behind the building, and a yelp rose above the thunder. A tiny ginger kitten had fallen from a crooked tree branch. Staff hurried outside, only to see Luna nudging the trembling kitten towards safety, her big head shielding it from gusts of rain. Cameras clicked as Maya captured a scene, the scary Pitbull carrying the soaked kitten gently between her teeth like fragile glass. Back indoors, Luna stood guard beside the kitten's crate, refusing dinner until the little one's shivers slowed to soft snores. When the story hit social media, the photos spread faster than gossip in a lunch line, gathering hearts instead of angry faces. Commenters who once warned Maya now wrote apologies, admitting they had judged Luna by cover art rather than the story inside. A local reporter arrived to interview the Pitbull hero, broadcasting her calm tail wags during the evening news. Viewers watched Luna sniff the camera lens and pull back shyly, as if realizing fame could be just as scary as prejudice. Donations poured in labeled for Luna and friends, allowing the shelter to buy new beds that smelled of fresh cotton, not bleach. Staff framed the viral photo and hung it near the entrance so every visitor saw evidence before forming opinions. The kitten, now named Ginger Snap, gained strength and followed Luna like a shadow wearing whiskers. Seeing the odd pair, guests began stopping longer at Luna's kennel, asking Maya questions instead of walking straight past. Each question became a thread weaving new understanding, and soon Luna's adoption chart moved from the bottom of the stack to the top. Yet the biggest test of public trust still waited beyond the shelter walls, where city sidewalks remembered old rumors. 2 Saturdays later, the shelter hosted a pause in the park fair, filling Maplewood Green with adoptable animals, tents, and bright balloons. Maya clipped a sunflower bandana around Luna's neck, hoping the cheerful yellow would soften her serious face. Children rushed toward pens holding fluffy pups, but Luna lay patiently on a blanket, as curious yet calm as clouds. A small boy named Amir rolled across the grass in a wheelchair, steering awkwardly toward the snoozing Pitbull. His mother gasped, ready to turn him away, but Amir insisted he wanted to meet the strong dog who saved a kitten. Luna lifted her head, sniffed the wheels, and then nudged a tennis ball toward Amir's lap, invitation clear as day. Amir laughed, a sound so bright it outshone every balloon string, and tossed the ball a short distance across the lawn. Luna bounded after it with measured speed, careful not to splash dirt, and returned, dropping the ball gently into the boy's hands. The simple game repeated until Amir's arms tired, but his grin grew wider than the park fountain's arc. Nearby onlookers whispered how odd it was to see a pit bull playing softer than the spaniels wrestling by the lemonade booth. A gust of wind then whipped a poster from a table, sending it spinning onto the path toward the busy street. Amir's chair lurched as he tried to grab the paper, one while catching a root and tilting dangerously toward a slope. Luna reacted faster than any adult, wedging her body against the chair and barking sharply for help without biting or panicking. Volunteers sprinted over, steadying Amir while his mother hugged both child and dog, tears painting relief across her cheeks. Phones filmed the rescue, and within hours another video of Luna's gentle bravery crossed friend groups, classrooms, and office chats. Comment sections that once flamed with fear now filled with heart emojis, wheelchair icons, and hashtags like #SeeHerHeart. The fair ended with a group photo, Luna seated beside Amir, both wearing matching sunflower stickers over their hearts. The shelter director, moved by the crowd's reaction, waived adoption fees for Luna to encourage the right family to step forward. Several families took applications, yet Maya wondered whether anyone could truly match the bond already sparking between Amir and Luna. The answer would unfold like the next dawn, proving some choices glow brighter after lights dim and quiet thinking begins. Early Monday morning, Amir's mother, Mrs. Rahman, arrived at the shelter clutching a coffee and a nervous smile that fluttered. She explained that Amir had not stopped talking about Luna, falling asleep hugging the tennis ball. Papers rustled as the director outlined responsibilities, costs, and city leash laws, but Mrs. Rahman signed each line without hesitation. When Luna entered the lobby, Amir's squeal echoed off the tiled walls, and the Pitbull trotted directly to him as if reading the new script. A staff member snapped a photo of the first hug, accidentally catching everyone else wiping tears of joy. Maya packed Luna's blanket, toys, and a list of favorite foods into a tote bag embroidered with paw prints. The family van's ramp lowered, and Luna hopped inside, settling on the floor beside Amir's seat where her head fit perfectly under his hand. At school, Amir's teacher invited Luna for show and tell, turning math hour into a lesson on empathy and false assumptions. Students sat cross-legged, passing around cards listing dog facts, and Luna demonstrated a high-five trick that earned giggles and applause. News crews filmed again, this time focusing on how a once-feared dog became a classroom ambassador for kindness. The school district shared the clip, prompting other campuses to request similar visits, forming a schedule busier than most pop stars. Each visit melted another chunk of fear from community hearts, and adoption rates for large breeds at the shelter quietly doubled. Local businesses printed posters reading "Judge Less, Love More," featuring Luna's gentle gaze in the background. The bakery donated bone-shaped cookies stamped with sunflower imprints, selling out before noon and sending profits back to animal care programs. Even the police department invited Luna to meet the K-9 unit, discovering she could track a hidden tennis ball faster than expected. Officers joked that her wagging tail might disarm suspects before backup arrived, laughter mixing with new respect. Across town, the bridge where Luna once slept grew silent. No dog huddled beneath it because she no longer belonged to the shadows. People passing the spot placed tiny painted stones reading, "Hope lives here," like breadcrumbs marking where fear ended. Maya visited the bridge too, smiling at the clear space and whispering thanks to every sunrise that once kept Luna walking forward. She knew the story wasn't just about one Pitbull. It was a map proving hearts can change directions when shown a brighter route. Months passed, and autumn painted Maplewood with copper leaves that crunched beneath Luna's careful paws on daily walks with Amir. The pair enrolled in a certified therapy dog program, practicing commands that Luna mastered with a wag and a gentle head tilt. Graduation day found Luna wearing a blue vest reading "Service Friend," and applause echoed through the gym. Hospitals invited her to visit children's wards, where she rested her head on blanketed legs and soaked up whispered secrets about scary needles. Nurses reported lower heart rates in patients after Luna's visits, data later shown at conferences. One doctor confessed he had once crossed the street to avoid pitbulls, but now awaited Luna's visits like a kid waits for recess every Thursday. The mayor proclaimed Luna Day, urging citizens to greet others without stereotypes. At the ceremony, Luna sat beside Amir on the town hall steps, while the crowd recited a pledge promising to see hearts before appearances. Reporters asked Amir what made his dog special, and he answered simply, "She saw my wheels, not my weakness, so I saw her heart, not her head." The quote spread across social media, printed on t-shirts funding playground ramps. Back home, Luna still loved simple pleasures. Warm blankets, window breezes, bedtime stories Amir read aloud to improve his speech, and the soft squeak of Ginger Snap's toy mouse rolling across the floor. Ginger Snap, now sleek, lounged on a couch nearby, proof that Luna's gentleness never faded with fame. Sometimes they all visited the shelter, where Luna showed calm greetings to nervous dogs. Maya, now head of outreach, watched those lessons like a proud sibling, remembering the first click of that foam-padded leash. She crafted workshops teaching kids to judge dogs by actions, not looks, using Luna's story as the opening chapter. Attendance grew, and the program soon taught judging people the same way. On the anniversary of Luna's rescue, the community gathered at the once-empty bridge, stringing sunflower garlands along the rails. They lit paw-print lanterns, releasing them to prove light can rise from any shadow. Luna watched the glowing dots float higher, her eyes reflecting their warmth, unaware that she herself had become their brightest lantern. As the last lantern vanished into starlight, everyone whispered a promise to carry her lesson forward. Never fear the face before meeting the soul. Winter arrived softly, frosting window edges while Luna snored near Amir's bed, her breath puffing little clouds that melted in lamplight. Outside, wind rattled branches like bones, but inside the house a fire cracked friendly jokes and warmed everyone's toes and tails. Amir wheeled to the window each dawn, opening curtains so Luna could watch pale sunbeams chase night shadows off the snowbanks. They practiced new therapy tricks. Luna fetched dropped mittens, tugged doors open, and even pushed elevator buttons with her careful nose. Every success made Amir clap, and Luna's tail thumped drumbeats that turned practice into living room concerts. One icy Saturday, The vet invited them to a senior center where residents felt winter most in their knees and memories. Luna strolled between rocking chairs, offering gentle head nudges that loosened stuck smiles on wrinkled faces. An old sailor named Mr. Khan whispered sea stories while scratching the spot behind her ear that made her eyes close in bliss. He admitted he once feared pit bulls, yet now trusted Luna enough to let her balance the woolen cap on her broad head for laughs. The activity director snapped photos, later hanging them beside children's art to show courage has no age limit. On the trip home, heavy snow blocked roads, and the van slid sideways, lodging against a drift taller than a mirror. The driver tried calling for help, but cell towers slept under ice, so cold silence hummed through the cabin. Luna sniffed a crack in the door, then squeezed outside, paws sinking but determination lifting her like a sled dog of one. She trotted toward faint headlights in the distance, barking steady signals until a plow operator noticed and followed her trail. The rescue truck freed the van, and the crew thanked the Pitbull whose bark cut through blizzard walls thicker than concrete. Local news later dubbed her North Star Luna, saying she guided travelers the way Polaris guides ships at night. Back at school, Amir shared the adventure, classmates plotting Luna's hero points on a chart that now stretched wall to wall. Each point marked not danger conquered, but kindness given, proving bravery often looks like love wearing work boots. As seasons turned again, Luna's story became part of town folklore, told beside campfires and classroom projectors alike. And every retelling ended with a gentle reminder: real beauty glows brightest when someone dares to look past fear and sees a true face.